I saw you in a movie called Haunted High, where you were the librarian, and it just stuck with me the whole time that you would make the perfect Barbara Gordon Batgirl.
Yeah. Not wrong. He's not wrong. You as Batgirl would be phenomenal. I have to admit that.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
So I guess you'll do it, because I heard that they're putting together to make the movie.
There is the thing that Joss is looking to do, Batgirl.
Right, but I'm less girl and more woman.
That's the only response that you can get with that one.
Thank
So
you.
That works. Thank you. Hello.
Hi. My question is that you guys have obviously been very involved in like bigger franchises, like with Buffy and Charmed and Pretty Little Liars. What if you could do any other like big franchise? What franchise would you want to join, and like what role would you want to have within that franchise?
That Lord of the Rings thing is doing okay. They do pretty well. I could be like elfin, like.
Let us see your ears. There could be a little point there. That could work.
They're little. They are. That's why I need prosthetics. Need them. Need them.
Is there a franchise that you would love to be a part of or take over, maybe?
I mean, I always wanted to be Wonder Woman, but that role is being filled and quite well.
Yes, she's done a phenomenal job.
But Catwoman's kind of...
Hey.
I think I love that because of Michelle Pfeiffer, who, by the way, is a hell of an actress.
Yes.
And probably one of my favorites, for sure. So.
You saying Catwoman, I'm thoroughly impressed because I think that the wily nature of her, as well as the aggressive I'm going to do for myself, is exactly what you were just talking about. And it makes sense for that to be a draw. I as a comic book geek, I am thoroughly excited. Somebody tweet that right now, please. No, that's awesome.
I feel like I'm part feline. And I mean, I say lion because I'm...
That's
lion.
real.
But yeah, that beats fucking rad. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
That really is good. So this is primarily for charisma, but if Holly, if you have an answer.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Awesome. Oh, good.
Just hanging out.
Cool. Right on, right. So I was lucky enough to grow up with Buffy a little bit. I was young, but my back when Netflix was that the mail-in DVD service, my mom was getting the DVDs, and I'd watch it with her, and I was a kid, and I'd have to skip some violent scenes. But I feel like
Slow down.
Sorry. Talk so fast all the time. I feel like one of the most profound impacts that the show had, both Buffy and Angel, was the character progression of Cordelia, starting out as the rude, rich bully in the high school, and then going on into Angel to being a character who's actively doing good and changing her life. I was wondering, just based on like interviews I've read or heard about that, I know you were worried about being typecast when you were originally cast. How much were you involved in those changes in the character?
Oh, good question. I was not involved at all.
Oh, okay. So that's just lucky that it happened.
I guess, I think it was an accident, actually, because Doyle, that character was not working out, and they needed someone to be the impetus of Angel's redemption and heroism. So they needed somebody to come in and give him the visions, right? And I think they just made it happen to me. And then the way that they told that story, Cordelia had to change.
Gotcha.
And be affected by everything. And it was really sort of a wonderful confluence of events that happened, because how wonderful that she was so shallow, and then to get these visions and be exposed to all the pain and suffering in the world, and that deepened her in such a way that she had to understand her mission in life. And what a beautiful thing, I think when any of us as people find out what your purpose is, it's nirvana. So it's kind of cool and amazing, and I'm grateful for that story.
Thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Hello.
Hello. Hi, Charisma. Hi, Holly. My name's Eric.
Hi, Eric.
Actually, I have two things I just wanted to ask. First of all, when I was younger, I used to look like when witches were on TV. Like what I always noticed was Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the witch from The Wizard of Oz, Bewitched. So I just wanted to thank you for actually embracing a role and making it serious, involving family values, friendships, siblings. You did a pretty good job. I just want to let you know. You did that. That's why we all love the show. Second of all, I had heard a rumor in regards to a possible Charmed reboot, pre-adult.
This question's for you.
Maybe. If you would do it again, and you and the girls, if there is a reboot, and would you be in it, or direct it, produce it? Can you give us any hints?
There, I believe, is a reboot happening.
Okay.
Not sanctioned.
I've heard some things.
Would you partake in being in it, or being...
I haven't seen it. I'm trying really... Say what? Oh.
I mean, there's so much material. Why?
Just say it.
I can't.
Okay.
Perhaps the
We've actually...
style of that show, of the new reboot, doesn't harken back to the glory that was.
Wow, he's good.
I tried.
I need to take him with me everywhere.
But would you be in it? Don't we all want to see her in it? Come on, let her know. We all want to see her in it?
I mean, I would love to see you back in the Charmed universe, but only if it was up to scale of what
Right.
it was. There's no reason to
Okay.
step down for nostalgia's sake.
Right, I do know that all of the girls from my show, and I can't speak about the reboot because it's not our show, but from my show, were all willing at one point in time to do another continuation of it.
Okay. Well, we're all hoping. Best of luck. Thank you.
Like
Reboot is different than
So
continuation.
reboot implies it doesn't include the former cast. A reboot is we're
Write me
like
that
a
word.
total brand. We're scraping and we're starting fresh with a whole new group and giving them the same name. I mean, can you think of anything more offensive?
Right.
You know what
Well,
I mean?
I'm trying to remember what it was that I read. I don't know if it was a younger version and you
Yeah, it
were
is.
going before, but when you guys were kids, I think that's where they were going with it. But
Not that young.
there's so much material you could work with. I mean, you guys could be, you know.
Right, but you get it. You get that we're not a fan of that, right?
Right.
Because you're keeping
Yeah.
going with this.
Right.
Be a part of it. But why would we want to be a part of something that doesn't include us and the stories don't sing?
No, we wanted to
not
include you.
fascinating?
We love you.
Yeah. I mean, I understand your desire for that. We want that too, but not on the terms in which they're being presented.
Yeah.
Just like your, Holly, like your
Yeah.
grandmother in the show
Yeah.
was always reappearing. You could
Yeah.
do the same thing and step in there.
Right.
And keep,
You're not.
Hell no.
She's nobody's grandmother in the show. That's
You'd
how
be a
She's
beautiful
playing
grandmother.
grandmama,
Yeah,
yeah,
she's-
she's covered that.
she's like, we're done on the grandparent
later.
talk. Thank you though. Thank
Maybe
you.
later. But
Hello.
Hello, I apologize in advance. My voice is kind of going in and out, but that's Charisma. I think you already answered my question mostly. I was just wondering, like, what improvements would you like to see within the entertainment industry going forward for women? Like,
More women stepping up to get plucked
There you
for
go.
the right jobs.
yeah, don't be afraid.
Plucked. That's not a bad word. That's not a bad word.
Harkin.
Great.
Harkin and pluckin.
Thank you.
Vocabulary
I
day.
don't know why that sounds dirty. But
Harkin?
Yeah, harkin and plucking. See, it sounds worse.
I mean,
when
actually,
say it.
plucked is not a great choice of words because that implies then that somebody
Someone
else that
is
is not a
choosing.
woman
Yeah.
is choosing your
Right.
destiny.
Right.
So I'm going to revisit that.
Yep.
Hello.
hi, I'm Amelia. Sorry for not choosing the words because I'm not a native speaker. I come from Poland.
That's okay.
I have a question. What piece of advice would you give to young women entering the show business? What was the hard lesson you learned?
Well, like I just said, not to be afraid, and also to be prepared for a lot of rejection and a lot of scrutiny and a lot of physical scrutiny. because being a woman, I think you're scrutinized physically more than for your talent. So, you're always going to be told you're either too tall or too short or too big or too small or not blonde enough or not, it's just, you're not everybody's everything all the time. And it can be, if you let it get to you, I've known people who started out in the business and quit because the rejection was just too difficult to take. So you have to sort of step outside yourself when that kind of stuff happens and not take it personally.
What piece of advice would I give a young person pursuing the Hollywood dream?
I mean, I tell my sons don't, but
I say the same to my son. Times are changing, so that answer has changed a lot over the years. I don't know. I guess the main thing would just be never to give up and not take anything personally. And always work on your craft. Whatever position is you're striving for, whether it's writing or not, is to keep learning and keep attending seminars and going to classes and write. If you want to be a writer, write. If you want to produce, make small films all the time. If you want to direct, just go out and make things. And if you want to act, don't be an extra.
Okay, thank you.
That's a good one. Don't be an extra.
Hello. Hi, good afternoon, ladies. Welcome to Philly.
thank you.
My question is for Charisma. How was it working on Legend of the Seeker?
It was wonderful. We shot in New Zealand. I'd never been, and I had to go 2 weeks early because of the costume fittings. And so that, costume was so elaborate and authentic and intense. They had to dye it several times. I had to have everything measured, from this distance to this distance, from here to here, and then here to here, and from here to here. It was around. It was invasive, ear to ear. So when I got this costume and I'm showing up as the first, we can turn my mic down. When I had the costume on, it was kind of the first time, not the first time, but where putting on a costume made me believe more in what I was doing. It made that character come to life in a way that I had never really experienced. I do experience that when I put on heels. Whenever Cordelia would put on her heels, I would always do 9 times out of 10, try to do all of my camera work in the shoes of that character, because for me, that's my thing. The shoes make the character. But in this case, the costume, this intent, it was so tight. And you couldn't have any water, because if you had to pee, it was like a half an hour issue. You had to, everything was laced, and that's a lot to try to go to the bathroom. And you have a lunch break; it's only half an hour. It'd take a half an hour to get it back on if you took it off. So you're in this thing the whole time. So that was intense. I loved learning the sword fighting. I had to go also when I went early. I had to learn the choreography for the fights. And why that was so special to me is because we learned from the choreographer on the Star Wars that taught Darth Maul all of his sword fighting. So that choreographer was on Legend of the Seeker and taught me firsthand those fighting scenes. So I got to go home and teach it to my son. And it was a really big deal to him, and then I felt like the best mom ever.
Mom of the year with
Yeah, so I'm let me just show you how it's done, son. And he was an epic sword fighter. Nobody wanted to sword fight with him on the block. They did, but they didn't. It was a fantastic experience, needless to say, for lots of reasons. Thank you for flooding me back with those happy memories.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello. My question is for Charisma. So when you were on Buffy, you were surrounded by a lot of powerful women, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Allison Hannigan, a whole lot of them. And then you moved to Angel, where you were the only woman in the main cast. What was it like, the transition between a woman-dominated space to a man-dominated space?
I fit right in.
Awesome. Good answer.
The best answer, actually. It's like, yeah,
Thank you.
I belong where I belong.
Yeah.
Period.
I fit right in.
Make that space. Hello.
Hi. I just wanted to say thank you, first of all, because both Charmed and Buffy were a big part of my formative years, and I really appreciate your part in both of those shows. And my question is, when you're choosing your roles and looking at the script, do you take into consideration basically the portrayal of women in the film or the TV show? I know the Bechdel test is one quick way to kind of see if there's some equal representation. Is that something that you think about?
Yeah, I think organically, I do. I also, since I had children, that is just in the forefront of my mind when I choose things. I won't do certain things that I would have done before, because of them. And I think, I feel like there has to be some element of me in a character for me to convince myself I can do it better than anybody else. Because there's a lot of roles that I read and I go, no, somebody else can do that better. I'm realistic about it. But yeah, so organically it's just part of the thought process for a few different reasons.
I think sure. If I accept the role and there is anything that stands out to me, I would probably have a conversation with the director before. I did a small movie, and one of the contingencies of doing this very brave role was a lot of nudity. Brave nudity.
Brave.
So I had a say in what I was willing to do or not do or whatever, but I don't have a problem with women talking about men or men being the center of a conversation because I think that is organic to my circle of friends. And that's life. And if I was a man, that would be a big part of, there are men movies that a lot of it is about their relationships with women. So again, I'd like to take this me versus them or men versus women thing down a notch a little bit because I don't know, it just feels contrived and doesn't feel good. I think though that as long as I get a say in what I'm willing to do and not say, or if I have something to add or whatever and I feel heard, I generally am and feel satisfied with that. So, sure.
Thanks.
Does that make sense? I don't know.
Thank you.
I don't take something unless I have a say in it.
Right.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Bonnie. Holly Marie. My formative years were spent watching picket fences.
Yay!
I loved you in that role.
I'd like the return of that.
That would be incredible.
The return of smart television would be great.
Very much. It sounds like you had a lot of fun doing it. Was there a memorable or favorite storyline that you remember?
My general overall memories of that show was that I was so lucky to be at such a young age, surrounded by so many good actors that taught me so many things. And just the way they were on set to each other, their creative process, and most importantly, how they treated the people around them. They were really giving actors, and they were also really gracious people to their crews. So they taught me everything I know, basically.
And I can say that she did learn it because I watched. I've seen you on set, and she does represent that. She does. There's people that you work with that'll say, "Oh, in my other job, this lead actress was so mean to me," and then you turn around and you work with them, and they're doing this exact same thing that they were complaining about.
Right.
But she's the real deal, and you did. You are an amazing person to work with. I loved working with you.
You are our last question. Make it good.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Hi, my name's Adam.
Hi, Adam.
Carpenter, I loved you in The Lion Game. That was great.
Aw, thanks.
Holly, when you were on PLL, since that's quite different from Charmed, what drew you to that role?
I had an 11-month-old baby. And you know, my agents were very sweet people, and they called me and said, you probably don't want to do this because it's the mom of a 16-year-old. And they said, but it's one of the best pilots we've seen this year, because I was actually replacing someone else. So the pilot was done without me. And I said, wait, a mom of a 16-year-old? And I was like, you guys do know that my mom was a teenager when she had me, right? I mean, it's just not an issue for me. And, you know, at a certain point, obviously, as we get older, we have to adapt to changes in our career. And they were like, you probably don't want the mom role yet. And I was like, absolutely I do. Are you kidding me? And they said it was good, you know, but we had no idea it would be 7 years later. So I think it was a good choice.
You're very good in that.
Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you. Ladies, thank you so very much for sharing your time. Guys, now will be the time that we set up to do a nice little quick photo op. So if you guys are interested in some pictures, hold on, wait for the ladies to get ready. Wait for the ladies to get ready. Don't be rude. You gotta get ready. There we go. All right, so. Yeah, wait till she's on your side. Wait till she's on your side. Here, guys, if you're gonna take photos, you gotta be towards them, is what they're